Call hello Ibn Yahweh, Bahasham, Mashiach Yahushai. Shalom. This is your fellow servant Tazawar from the GMS Orlando. Came here with another lesson. First, I'm going to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praise. And two, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, whom rule well, and from whom we learn this truth. Shalom to you, Akim, who are not in GMS, but are pushing likewise doctrine in spirit and in truth, with all sincerity. To you few sisters that are listening and learning, as well as you speckled birds that are scattered among the nations, looking like those nations, to the 144,000 elect men, and the rest of the hopeful elect, to you I say, Shalom. This lesson is inspired by a clip one of the brothers dropped in the chat. Right, and it was of a Klansman who, was basically stating that they don't have to do any of the legwork to basically reduce the number of lives unalive so-called Black, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? Just drop off unmarked firearms and bullets and all of that, and ammunition, I'll say, as well as illicit substances, in the form of alcohol, the really cheap, bad stuff, and drugs. Okay, pretty much things to get you inebriated, to alter your state of judgment. But one of the things he said was that it's ridiculous to think that you could have a bunch of people in the same landmass with differing religions, differing customs and cultures and practices, and think that everybody's going to get along and be hunky-dory. He said that it's common sense to know that some toes are going to be stepped on. And that is the point I want to speak to, all right, that he spoke about. The other things are just icing on a cake, if you will, a very bad cake. But I believe I will title this one, the Lord is a separatist, right? And that should be apparent through the laws, statutes, and commandments, and the fact of having order, the Lord having order, because order itself dictates that things are arranged in a certain manner or in classes, right? Which means to separate, right? And we just gonna pull some scriptures on that real quick, because and brothers know this is really a milk topic, right? And it's a simple concept. However, it is one that our people seem to have a difficult time digesting, right? And occasionally you'll have a heathen or somebody of another nation come up and inquire about these things. Well, how come we all can't just get along and just all be one kind of rock together type thing. And what they're really saying is, um, Salakia, how can I gain benefits from what you're talking about? Right? That's really what they want. How can they benefit what we're taught from what we are pushing in the world? And the answer is, to keep it short, you heathens don't benefit. Not in the immediate, at least. You will have to wait until the kingdom of Yahushai and the house of David are established. All right? When the earth is ran in righteousness, then all nations will benefit from righteous rule. Not before then. However, there will be a period where you will be placed into subjection, and presumably in your order, okay, amongst nations, because again, the nations have an order as well. This is why the scriptures say that Esau, Edom is the basest of men, okay, and the Israelites are what? We're holy, we're separate, we are the apex, we are at the helm, the top. The Lord loves us above all nations, okay, above all nations on the earth. And so things have been flipped upside down, right? The order has been totally turned on its end, if you will. I won't say head, because again, Esau Edom is at the bottom. Right now, they're not in their correct place, which is why the order is out of place. Anyhow, the other nations will fall in their lot where they're supposed to be. And that understanding on where each nation resides and their job, their duty, will be made clear to us during the kingdom. Okay, but order is indeed from the Lord. Okay, and let's go ahead and grab scripture on that. Let's start off with the one that everybody knows, Deuteronomy 32:8. Okay, and it reads, when the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, all right, the nations their inheritance, when he divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Okay, that's because we are as the sand of the sea, right? As the Lord promised we would be, and we shall be in the kingdom the same. All right, there's more of us than there is any other nation, but we have been in this society, in Esau's kingdom, in this world, the world of Esau, we have been separated from our kinsmen, all right, from our nation is not considered a nation. Now the scriptures say that we are a company of nations, meaning there's each tribe is a small nation within itself, right? And there's 12 tribes. Okay, so if you put all 12 tribes together, we are the majority of the population on planet Earth. And when you add the speckled birds, okay, the Israelite foreigners and the speckled birds, it's not even close. Not even close. all right, on who the majority of the populace is, and that be us. Okay, I'm gonna read that in the middle of the verse again. When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. All right, verse 9, for the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Okay, and I stated that in the opening when I spoke about we are a separate people, a holy people unto the Lord, right? We are, and we'll pull that verse, Lord willing. What's that? Deuteronomy 7:6, I think it is. Let's click on that. Deuteronomy 7:6. But yeah, we're a holy people unto the Lord, and we're loved and valued above all the other nations. All right, this is Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. All right. And that's plain. That's plain. I believe you can get it in Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter as well, where it actually says nation. All right. In there. You can get that on your own. It's in Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter. Okay. But the Lord is a separatist, and these verses prove it. Now, really, I could close it up right there, because that is thus saith the Lord. Right? But for the sake of driving home the point, right, we're gonna how they say in the world, no need to beat a dead horse or some shit like that. We gonna beat that motherfucker. All right, this is Exodus 33 and 12. All right, now this is Moses, all right, interceding on behalf of the nation of Israel. Okay, Exodus 33 and 12. And Moses said unto the Lord Yahweh, see, thou sayest unto me, bring up this people, and thou hast not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Yet thou hast said, I know thee by name, and thou hast also found grace in my sight. All right, now therefore I pray thee, if I have found grace in thy sight, show me now thy way, that I may know thee. All right, so this is Moses speaking unto the Lord, saying, listen, I found grace in your sight, or you have found grace in my sight. I agreed to be a servant unto thee. Now, if you will allow me to serve you, if I have indeed found grace in your sight, then what? That I may know thee, that I may find grace in thy sight, and consider that this nation is thy people, right? And not just him, but this nation, the nation that Moses is a part of. And he said, my presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. Now, this is speaking, obviously, this is in Exodus after we were brought out of the land of Egypt. Okay, so the Lord had already made himself very clear with how he felt about the nation of Israel by delivering us from the grip of the Egyptians under Pharaoh, right? And all of the plagues that he brought upon the land of Egypt. Okay, but so Moses, in this exchange here, Moses is basically trying to solidify and saying, hey, all these things have happened. I know I found favor. However, right? Then he's saying this. Again, him and the Lord are having an exchange. Verse 15. And he said unto him, If thy presence go not with me, carry us not up hence. For wherein shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Is it not in that thou goest with us? So shall we be separated, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. So again, Moses is saying, again, me and these people here, if we have found grace. And why is this important? This exchange, why am I bringing this out? Okay, it's because you have to remember, just like in today's society, you have all manner of people worshiping some deity, some god, right? And these people are of different backgrounds. For instance, you have Islam. Right now, we know Islam is mainly the god of the Ishmaelites, we'll say. Right? On this side. But anybody who considers themselves Muslim, which you have Hamites, you have Ishmaelites, and the different families of the Arabians, right? Which means mixed blood. So the different sons of Abraham that come from Abraham that are not Ishmael, but like your Persians, right? You got Syrians, Assyrians, I believe those people, Iranians, a lot of them practice Islam. Okay. And then you have Hamites that practice Islam. And then on the other hand, you have those people that worship JC, right? Which was pushed through all the earth. And so these are, again, different families of people whom serve a God, I'm not going to call him a power, a deity, right? And they believe that this deity is working on their behalf, right? All of these people, this is that whole universalism, if that's a word, where Moses understands, excuse me, Salakia, especially coming out of the house of Pharaoh, all of these different gods, right? All these different deities that will worship. You had, Osiris and Anubis and Ra and Isis and everybody else, right? Who anybody could go pray to, and who anybody could garner favor from if they brought the proper sacrifice and all of this. And the Greeks took on like fashion in their customs. Well, here with Moses, again, expressing to the Lord, if I and thy people found favor in thy sight, meaning that he understands the relationship that only we Israelites are indeed the property, right? Belong to the Lord. And the Lord is only our power, only our God, right? That Yahweh is only our power, man, and none else. This is the scriptures say that. The scriptures say, you only have I known among all the families of the earth. So this is what Moses is speaking to, all right, in a roundabout way. The middle of verse, I'll just start at the top of 16 again, because I rambled a lot. For wherein shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Is it not in that thou goest with us? Right? So shall we be separated, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. And the Lord said unto Moses, I will do this thing also that thou hast spoken. Right? This is in a monogamous relationship so you can understand. For thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by name. Okay? So Moses was saying, hey, can this be just exclusive? We want to be with you exclusive. Me and my people and you. And that's it. Right? And the Lord agreed to that. In verse 17, he said, I will do this thing. Right? And so that was an agreement that the Lord made. All the way back during this time, man. Thousands of years ago. And it has not changed since. And it's never going to change. All right. Let's get Leviticus. What I want? 20 and now Leviticus, obviously this is the giving of the law, but why am I pulling this out? Let's see. The point's 24. Let's start in 23 because this is the giving. The law was being given here, but the point is what? That we should separate ourselves from the people of the earth, just as we read in Exodus, right? The conversation that Moses and the Lord was having. Well, for that to happen, we had to agree to certain things, and those certain things would be the law, statutes, and commandments, which is the thing that separates us from all the other nations. All right? That's what makes us separate. Not that just we can run fast. We have mighty men, mighty warriors in our nation, that we're highly intelligent. You know, we've created all these inventions that we don't get credit for. You know, athletically, we're just the top of the helm. You know, Jake can outfuck anybody, right? We are fruitful, and we produce a lot of offspring, right? These things are beautiful traits, and they've worked for our benefit, even during our captivity or captivities. But that is icing on the cake. Those are just bonuses, right? Because the other nations also have classifications of men like that among their own nation and people in their own right. You know, every nation has a class of mighty men, a class of warriors. Now, in my opinion, Israel get down the best, you know, but that don't take away from, like Japheth got mighty men. Those Samoans, them some big hardy motherfuckers, man. Now, anyway, before I start rambling, Leviticus 20 and 23, and ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation, right, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhor them. All right. So we don't walk in the manners of the nations. We walk after the commandments, the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. Again, that's what separates us. Right. That's what makes us holy and separate, pursuant to Exodus 33 that we just read. Okay. Verse 24, but I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Lord Yahweh, your power, your God, which have separated you from other people. How did he separate us? He separated us, again, set us apart by making us holy, by giving us the laws, statutes, and commandments that we are to live by. Okay? I think that's pretty plain right there. Okay? Let's hit First Kings 8 and do I want 50? Let's start at 51. Now this is a prayer, supplication being made on our behalf. But I think y'all get the point. Let me see. Slocky, hold on real quick. Yeah. Yeah, let's start at 50. All right, now this is Solomon. You seen that right there down at above the verse 54. But if you go to the top verse, verse 1, I believe it mentions Solomon as well. All right, but this is Solomon, right, who's praying on our behalf, because Solomon was a king and priest before the Lord. Okay. Now, Solomon also is or was Yahweh Shai in the previous incarnation. All right, whether you can accept that, believe it or not, that's just what it is. But if you know, you know. All right, verse 50. And forgive thy people that have sinned against thee, right? And all their transgressions, because we spoke on the law, right? Wherein they have transgressed against thee, and give them compassion before them who carried them captive, that they may have compassion on them. All right. For they be thy people and thine inheritance, which thou broughtest forth out of Egypt from the midst of the furnace of iron, that thine eyes may be open unto the supplication of thy servant and unto the supplication of thy people Israel, to hearken unto them in all that they call for unto thee. And that's what I was saying, all right, that Moses was speaking on. Okay, if I and thy people have found grace in thy sight, right? Verse 54, for thou didst separate them from among all the people of the earth to be thine inheritance, as thou spakest by the hand of Moses thy servant. Beautiful. When thou broughtest our fathers out of Egypt, O Lord Yahweh. All right. Hey, I can call it right there. We're going to get one more just for the sake of doing it. Because people are often like, Jacob and Esau are twins. I don't understand how come they can't. How come the white folk, the white man. First off, they're not white, they're Edomites. But let's get this right here. It started 22. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord, right? So these two children were fighting in the womb from the very beginning. All right. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, people, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right. That's the point. I don't have to read down. You can read down on your own. But that separation was even before, all right, the fighting was even before these two men, these two children, these two nations came into the earth. All right. These two men had fathered nations. The progeny of their loins turned into nations. One, right, the elder Esau, Edom, all right, who is not the Lord's people and will receive of his judgments, all right, from the Lord through Yahushua, all right. And then you have Jacob, who was named Yasharallah, okay, Israel, okay, and that is the chosen seed, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right, and we were to be separated from her bowels, from birth, all right, and that holds true to this very day, okay. Now again, this is not a color thing. This is a lineage thing, all right. You are what your father is, because there are Israelites that are pale in flesh, but are indeed Israelites nonetheless. So, likewise, there are dark Edomites, say Bob Marley, Tracy Ellis Ross, even though she's not really dark, but you know, brown in complexion, okay. Trevor Noah, okay. The Smolletts, Journey Smollett and her brother, whatever his name is, Jamie Smollett. He's kind of brown, right? He looked like a Jake, or could pass as a Jake, but he ain't. Bob Marley's not, okay. Anyway, those are just examples. And with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. Again, this was a milk lesson answered because, again, some of our people have a hard time grasping this concept because it's stiff-necked. All right. Anyway, I pray this lesson was edifying, and I pray that it finds you well. Until next time, Shalom.